Hey guys, this video is going to go over how you can insert charts into your PowerPoint presentation. So why should you include charts when possible? Well, charts are a great way to convey information that engage the interest of the viewers. When you create a presentation that's solely composed of text and the occasional image, it just feels too bland and viewers can become disengaged. Plus, charts do add the extra touch of professionalism into your presentation. So without further ado, let's get into it. So to insert a chart, what you want to do is go over to the Insert tab. And as you can see, there's an option here called Chart. You want to click on that, and as you do that, you'll see a wide range of chart options appear. There's column charts, line charts, pie charts, bar charts, and so on. I'll create a few different charts to give you guys a better feel for how to use them, but first off, let's create a column chart. We'll create your basic 2D clustered column chart. So once you click on the chart option, an Excel spreadsheet pops up with some generic content here. This Excel spreadsheet is where you want to input the information to create your PowerPoint presentation. And so in my case, I'll create a chart that displays information about video game sales by genre through various years. And I'll also just decrease the size of this Excel sheet so you can see how the changes made to this spreadsheet translate over to the PowerPoint. Alright, so I'll start off by changing the top columns series to the years. I'll just randomly label these from 2013 to 2014. And I'll change these categories to the genre, so shooters, action, and sports. So as you can see, some of the changes already translated over to the chart. The legend down here says the years, and the genres appear right under the actual bars. But I do notice one thing, which is that there's a whole different category that I don't want to include in my chart. So what I want to do is, well, first off, let's see what happens when I delete category 4 here. So as you can see, it does get removed from the actual chart, but as you can see, a bunch of blank space appears here. So what happens here is, let me just undo that change. So what happens here is, when you go to the bottom left of category 4, you'll see that the icon changes to this diagonal arrow sort of icon here. So when you click on that and drag it, you'll see that sort of this translucent green box sort of appears around your selected items. So essentially everything within this box will appear on the chart. And so I could just delete this category 4 like so now. And so if you do want to include more categories into your chart, the same sort of rule applies here. So I'll just add like so, and it automatically kind of goes down, but I added a bit more categories, and say it doesn't translate over to the actual chart, that would just mean that you'll need to drag this down like so, and it'll include those categories into your chart. But anyways, I'll begin to populate this chart with actual information. And I'll actually just pause it here and get back to it when it's fully populated. Alright, so I've finished adding the information I want to, and as you can see, these sort of changes have translated over to the chart in the PowerPoint presentation. So I'll now go ahead and just enlarge the actual PowerPoint. And so all the data included in the chart does appear here, but since I included that data as percentages, I noticed that this side column here appears as decimals, and I don't really like that included in my chart, and I want to actually change it for it to actually display the percentages. So to change the format of this for it to actually be in percentage value, what I want to do is right click it, and at the very bottom it says format axis. I want to click on that, and right here a bunch of different options appear. What I want to do is go to the bottom label here called number, and right here I want to click on category. Currently it says general, and I'm going to change that to percentage. And once I do that, you'll notice that the values on this axis turn into percentages. But one thing I want to do is for this to be whole numbers and not include the decimals. So I'll just go on format code and just remove the decimals out of there. And once I do that, click add, and there you go. The axis goes into the format that I want to see. Oh, and I'll just go ahead and title this chart. Oops. Video game sales by genre. Alright, something else that I noticed about this chart is that the X and Y axes aren't actually labeled either. So it's best practice to actually label them. And so to do this, make sure that first off your chart is selected, and you want to go over to chart design, and the first option right here, add chart elements, is where you want to be. And right here it says axis titles. So primary horizontal will indicate the x-axis and primary vertical will indicate the y-axis. So for primary horizontal, right here, once you click on that, the title appears right like so. And so I want to label this genre, and I'll go back and go to primary vertical, and right here I'll label this % of units sold. Alright, so now I'm liking how it looks, but let's see any other formats we like that are better. So this option above here under chart design kind of lets you play around with the formatting of it, or the design, sorry. And let's see, I'll stick to the one that was presented by default. Alright, and that's what it really takes to create a chart. So this first chart was a column chart, and now let's go over and create another one. So the next chart I'll insert is the pie chart, and just before I do that, I should probably create a new slide. Alright, so again, the process is the exact same. You want to go to insert chart and go over to pie, and as you can see there's quite a few options here. I'm just going to stick to the basic 2D pie chart, and I'll just let it load. And as you can see, Excel spreadsheet pops up again, just this time with a different layout, but again the process is the exact same as the other one. So I'll just decrease the size of this again so that we could see how the changes look on the actual PowerPoint. And just a quick thing about pie charts. So although pie charts don't convey trends of a product over time, they're a great way to show how parts of a product compare to the whole. So they're basically an effective way to display data in percentages or in portions. And for my example here, I'll create a pie chart that displays video games sold by ratings. So in the left column here, I'll list the ratings of video games. So rated M, rated E, rated T, and I'll create another one just called other. So for sales, I'll leave this the same, and I'll just include percentages here. Percent. And 15%. Okay, and as you can see, the changes were reflected in this chart. And I'll just quickly title this slide Video Games Sold by Rating in 2012. Alright. And I am basically just done with this Excel chart right here, and I'll just play around with the formatting of this chart and see if there's better options out there. Okay, the thing I like about designs with the actual percentages on them is that it's a lot easier for people who are looking at this chart to understand the significance of each value. So by adding percentages, they kind of get a better idea of what you're trying to convey to them. But anyways, when it comes to creating pie charts, it's best to keep the data categories relatively low, as it can become easily cluttered and more difficult to read with the more categories you include. If you do see yourself including more than, say, 10 categories to display information, it'll probably be best to resort to another type of chart, such as a bar chart. But anyways, yeah, that was what it really took to create a pie chart, and as I showed before, it took a few steps to create a column chart, but once you keep doing it over and over again, you'll get the hang of it in no time. And yeah, that's really all it takes to create charts in PowerPoint. If you have any questions, leave it down in the comment section below. And thanks for watching.